So when we talk about China, it feels like the focus is always on the next conflict, the next border clash.
Right. But that's missing the bigger picture.
It really is. China isn't preparing for the next conflict. It's preparing for the next century.
Exactly. And when you go through the sources we've looked at, especially the research tracking their military playbook for 2035, that's incredibly clear.
It's a master plan.
Yeah.
A really detailed step-by-step guide to achieving full military modernization.
And this isn't just some high-level political talk. This document is a hard operational deadline.
What do you mean by hard deadline?
I mean, it dictates everything. It tells them which missile systems get priority funding, how their soldiers need to change their training. It's a roadmap to technological dominance.
So our mission for this deep dive is, I think, a pretty precise one.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to decode that playbook. We'll break down its 4 core pillars, look at the actual war scenarios they've gamed out against India.
And then we flip the whole thing around.
Exactly. We'll look at the countermeasures India needs to be putting in place right now.
And this is the shortcut for you, the listener. If you understand this plan and the counterplan, you understand what will define the balance of power in Asia for the next decade.
Okay, let's jump right into the timeline then. China has set 2 big deadlines. We hear a lot about 2050.
We do.
But why is 2035 the year we really, really need to focus on?
Well, 2050 is the grand vision, a world-class military on par with or even better than the United States. But 2035, that's the critical window.
The window for what?
That's when they expect to move from just planning to operational reality. It's when they believe full modernization will be achieved and integrated.
An integrated capability.
Yeah.
When we're talking the PLA, what does that actually mean in terms of hardware on the ground?
It means they expect to have dominance in several game-changing areas. We're talking about having full fleets of hypersonic weapons.
Which are almost impossible to defend against.
Almost impossible. It also means a massive blue water navy that can go anywhere in the world and large numbers of 5th and even 6th generation fighters.
You mentioned a unified joint command system. That sounds, incredibly complex. What's the main difference they're aiming for compared to, say, 20 years ago?
It's the difference between sharing information and actually fusing it.
Okay.
In the past, the Army, Navy, and Air Force might, share a radio frequency. By 2035, the goal is total integration of the invisible battlefields.
The visible ones.
Cyber, space, and electronic warfare. And it's all running through a command structure that's powered by artificial intelligence.
So an air mission isn't just jets in the sky anymore.
Not at all. It's simultaneous satellite surveillance, cyber attacks, and electronic jamming, all being directed by an algorithm.
Wow.
They see 2035 as their moment. They can capitalize on their tech investments while other countries are still stuck with older systems or, procurement delays.
Which is why for India, the next 10 years are everything.
It's the absolute definition of the strategic balance in Asia. The time to respond is now, based on their 2035 deadline.
That really sets the clock.
Yep.
So let's decode the engine behind all this.
Yeah.
The sources point to 4 foundational pillars driving everything. Mm-hmm. And the first one feels like the biggest philosophical shift.
Oh, absolutely. It's the move from what they called informatized warfare.
Which is basically networked forces, right?
Right, digitized network. They're moving from that to intelligentized warfare. And this is a huge leap. China believes future wars won't be won by having more tanks or troops.
They'll be won by what?
By superior algorithms, by faster decision-making.
That sounds like science fiction. How does that give you an edge on a real battlefield?
It gives you what they call temporal superiority, speed. So imagine a battle. Your general needs to get intel, analyze it, debate options, then issue orders. That takes minutes.
Sure, at best.
In intelligentized warfare, a predictive AI uses real-time satellite and drone data to see what the enemy will do before they do it. It suggests countermoves, deploys drone swarms, all in seconds.
So the human is basically being taken out of the loop.
Or at least their ability to decide is constrained by the speed of the machine. It's all about compressing the ODO, loop, observe, orient, decide, act. If they can run their loop 3 times faster than their opponent, they're always 3 moves ahead.
This connects directly to what might be the biggest and quietest threat to India.
It does. The most immediate threat is that the war of 2035 probably begins on a keyboard, not at a border post.
A preemptive cyber attack.
A preemptive cyber and electronic first strike. Their doctrine allows for it. They could try to shut down communications, jam satellites, attack the power grid, paralyze command centers, all before a single shot is fired.
Make them deaf, dumb, and blind from the start.
Precisely.
that temporal superiority idea is.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Let's move to Pillar 2, air power. This isn't just about buying more jets. No, it's about technological mass. It's about dominating the altitude and the speed of the fight.
So what are they building?
They are mass-producing their J-20 stealth fighter. They're integrating the J-35, which is their new stealth fighter for aircraft carriers. And they're fielding advanced drones like the WZ-8.
The WZ-8, that's the rocket-powered one, right?
The very same, a high-altitude reconnaissance drone. But they're also investing heavily in UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles.
The loyal wingman drones.
Exactly, drone swarms that fly alongside manned jets. The end goal is a 6th-generation fighter with an AI co-pilot. For India, this means the threat shifts from just numbers to a real technological gap.
So what's the urgent countermove for India here? How do they stop that from happening by 2035?
India has to see air superiority as central to their response. That means they have to accelerate the deployment of their own stealth fighter, the AMCA.
The Advanced Medium Combat Air.
Yes. It's the project they need to counter the J-20. They also need to boost their current squadrons and critically modernize their EW electronic warfare and radar systems. The future air war is algorithm versus algorithm.
Okay, from the skies to the seas. Pillar 3, naval expansion. We know the PLA Navy is already the world's largest by number of ships.
It is, but now it's about quality and reach. They just launched the Fujian-class aircraft carrier.
And that one has the electromagnetic catapults.
A technology only the U.S. had until now. It lets them launch heavier planes with more fuel and weapons. They're also building those huge Type 055 cruisers and, this is crucial, the Type 096 nuclear submarines.
The Type 096, why is that one so important?
The sources all suggest it's designed to be extremely quiet.
So it can hide.
It can patrol the deep oceans like the Indian Ocean floor without being easily detected. This is what shifts them from a coastal defense navy to a true global power.
And their long-term goal isn't just sailing around the Pacific.
No, not at all. Their explicit goal is to break out into the Indian Ocean and challenge India in its own backyard.
Which is where the string of pearls strategy comes in.
Exactly. Developing ports and bases all around the Indian Ocean region, Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka, Djibouti in Africa. It's all designed to surround and constrain India.
So if the Indian Ocean is the main stage, what does India's counter look like?
It has to be aggressive maritime modernization. Accelerate their own SSN projects, their nuclear-powered attack subs. They need to massively strengthen the Andaman and Nicobar Command, which is India's strategic choke point.
And sea under the water.
And sea under the water. Expand maritime awareness with undersea sensors and long-range drones.
Okay, that brings us to the last pillar, number 4, gray zone warfare. This one feels like their most dangerous weapon, in a way.
It's dangerous because it's ambiguous. It's all about achieving their goals without starting a full-blown conventional war that gets them condemned internationally.
And the tactics are things like salami slicing.
Salami slicing at the LAC, the line of actual control. They just take tiny, tiny bits of territory over time, building massive border infrastructure, using their maritime militia.
These are the civilian-looking fishing boats that are actually paramilitary.
Right. They use them to harass other ships. It's about applying constant low-level pressure to drain your opponent's resources and will to fight.
Winning by 1,000 cuts without ever really starting a war.
That's the idea.
Okay, let's shift from the playbook to how they'd actually use it. The planners are gaming out specific conflict scenarios with India. What are the main ones we need to understand?
Right. These scenarios give you a clear picture of the range of threats.
And the first one is seen as the most likely.
That's the short, sharp border conflict. It's basically a gray zone tactic taken to the next level. The goal is limited, seize a key ridge or a valley.
And the timing is key.
Very key. Keep it short, 7 to 14 days max, then immediately call for a ceasefire. The goal is to create a new fact on the ground before the world can even react.
And that would almost certainly be paired with scenario 2, the one we talked about earlier.
The cyber and electronic first strike? Absolutely. It's the preemptive digital attack. The goal is paralysis. Shut down communications, jam satellites, confuse command centers to maximize the gains from that short border conflict.
Then there's scenario 3, which brings in all the new hardware.
High-altitude air dominance. This is where they'd use their J-20s, stealth drones, and EW planes to get total control over a specific section of the border.
Making it impossible for India to reinforce its troops on the ground.
Physically and digitally impossible. They'd own the air and the information space at the same time.
And the final scenario takes the fight completely away from the Himalayas.
It does. It's the Indian Ocean pressure campaign. Instead of a direct attack, China just floods the Indian Ocean with its naval assets.
Yeah.
Nuclear subs, carrier groups, positioned near key shipping lanes.
Forcing India to react.
Exactly. Forcing India to pull resources, ships, planes, troops away from the northern border to protect its sea lanes. It stretches India thin without a single shot being fired at the LAC.
So, given this complex threat, let's pivot to India's counter-playbook. It can't just be about buying more tanks.
No, the response has to be just as integrated and tech-focused as the threat itself. India needs its own roadmap to 2035.
Let's start with the air, which you said was the most critical area.
Number one has to be air power superiority. The core insight here is non-negotiable. Air power is going to decide any future conflict more than ground troops.
So practically that means the AMCA.
Accelerate the AMCA. Operationalize the Tejas Mk2. Expand the Rafale fleet. And critically, deploy that loyal wingman drone tech. This also means big upgrades to their AWACS and EW systems to counter that high-altitude dominance threat.
And what about the seas to counter the string of pearls?
That's number two, maritime modernization. The Indian Ocean is the main theater. That means a third aircraft carrier, more nuclear submarines, better anti-sub warfare capabilities, and those undersea sensor networks.
This next point feels foundational, especially after hearing about the cyber-first strike scenario.
It's a survival mechanism. Number three, defense technology independence.
Self-reliance.
Radical self-reliance. India has to reduce its dependence on foreign tech, especially for critical things like jet engines, hypersonics, and drone software.
Because if you don't control the tech,
You don't control your destiny. The future war is only truly Indian if the technology is Indian. Relying on foreign parts means you're importing foreign vulnerabilities.
which is a huge problem when the first attack is a cyber one. Finally, there's the infrastructure on the ground.
Number four, border infrastructure and rapid mobilization. China has built its entire strategy on speed. India has to match it.
So, more all-weather roads, tunnels.
All-weather roads, upgrading airfields, better rail links, and a massive expansion of ISR intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, all along the LAC. In this fight, speed matters more than size.
So, let's zoom out. When you put the playbook and the counter-playbook together, what does it tell us?
It tells us China's plan is a blueprint for technological dominance. It's driven by relentless long-term planning, all focused on speed and integration. They're aiming for a decisive advantage by 2035.
But, as the sources show, India isn't just standing still. It's a rising power with its own strategic depth and a clear vision for the Indo-Pacific.
Absolutely. The next decade will define the balance of power in Asia. The country that really understands the nature of future warfare, that it's fought with information in the air, under the sea, and prepares early, will win early.
That leaves us with one final provocative thought for you to take away. If China's first strike scenarios depend completely on crippling an enemy's command centers with cyber and electronic attacks, how does a strategic dependence on foreign technology fundamentally compromise a nation's ability to even detect, let alone respond to, the very first move of the 2035 war? Does technological independence stop being about economic pride and become an absolute requirement for national survival?
Thank you for joining us on this Strategic Vanguard podcast. If you found value in this analysis, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We bring you fresh podcasts every Monday here on YouTube and Rumble, and you can also catch the audio versions on Spotify and Amazon Music. Just search for Strategic Vanguard Podcast. For more insights, articles, and discussions, subscribe to our blog at strategicvanguard.com. Your support helps us grow and bring you more in-depth analysis on defense, geopolitics, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay strategic.